Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 10 of the Chef Fit podcast. Because it's number 10, I'm hijacking this motherfucker. I'm Pobg, and with me here, of course, is
your man, Cam, C-A-M, if that's even his real name, a.k.a.
the big fella.
Vito.
How's it going, bro?
All good, Chief. All good. The tables have been turned.
They sure have. Who's in the hot seat now, man?
Fucking right, man. Fucking
Here
right.
we go. So what we're doing, ladies and gents, is every 10th episode, I am going to fire a few questions away at Cam and he's going to be answering them off the cuff because he doesn't know what the questions are, and he's gonna go into it as much as he can, but 5-6 minutes, Jobby. You know what I mean? We just go with it, right?
We've
now,
no script, no fucking nothing, pal. Just hit me with questions and let's see what happens.
That's it, right there. The first question that I have to ask, right, and I'll give you a backstory for this question, is why the fuck on earth did you choose to help chefs? Because they are the most unreliable, the biggest fucking faffers, the most self-destructive, and you try and organize anything with a load of chefs and it's just not happening. So you picked the worst group of people possible that you could say, right, these are the people I'm going to try and organize. Not just organize them, organize their fucking life, organize how they're working, how they're sleeping, everything. Why on earth did you pick chefs?
It's a fucking good question. That's a very good
Isn't
question.
it? And it's everyone's fucking question. Why on earth?
Yeah, like, I suppose it's a funny one. Like, Chef Fit's message has changed a lot over time. Like, it started off as, obviously, like, my background, my family, like, my dad had been a chef, my brother is a chef, and he's cooking at a very high level now, and he has his own place. I'd worked in catering, I'd worked in service my whole life. My other brother had a catering company. Food has always been something we've been about. The whole the restaurant thing has always been kind of a family venture. Do you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Like, my brother used to be an owner in Locks in Portobello in Dublin, and it's like the three of us were working there at the same time. You know what I mean? I used to run the bar, my brother Aaron ran the floor, and Keelan was running the kitchen. Like, that was how we would operate. So that was just as a family identity. That was kind of how we identified. Food and how we communicated as a family was always through food as well. You know, Dad was always extremely passionate about cooking. Like, would always have pots of stock on the go, would always be cooking down sauces for days at a time. Dinner time was always concrete. You were always home for fucking dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit what time it is. I don't care if it's summer. I don't care about your mates. You're fucking home, and you're home for dinner at 7. Sunday lunch was religion. That was like every Sunday without fail for my entire life.
Lovely.
My dad fucked off to Thailand, but it's a different story for a different podcast. And obviously my work life, it was a natural progression. As I left the service industry, I got very good at coaching and I got into fitness and all of that. And as I basically gained the expertise, not to sound like a fucking wank biscuit, which I do, but like, as I gained a bit of expertise, I decided to apply that. So my brother looked for my help because my brother had worked at the top level for many years. And he was in bits, basically. He was in fucking bits. His last big job was in the greenhouse on Dawson Street. As they were getting the Michelin star, he was the sous chef there. And it's just chap was 80 hours in doing meat and fish in the depths of hell. You know what I mean? It was bad as it gets. And then he kind of came to me. He's like, I need to get my shit together. So he stopped smoking weed. He started taking care of himself with my guidance, and he joined the gym, and I basically started programming for him. It's like, right, this is the training program. You're going to do this, this, and this, and then we're going to start eating this, this, and this. And the transformation was mental. You know what I mean? And I don't really say that to my brother. Like, he doesn't really know that was the.
Were you working as a PT at the time?
As a PT at the time, yeah. Like, I was.
You were working as a PT. So when you were doing this, did you think maybe I could turn this into something bigger, or were you thinking, oh, this could work for all chefs?
Yeah, so the Keelan, my brother, was the first bit of experience with a chef. And then when I started PTing myself, so when I got into PTing, I was actually teaching PT courses, and I was coaching groups of clients. So that was my first foray for the first year or two. After that, I started my own PT business. And when I was doing that, then I actually started training some of the chefs. There was 2 chefs who are in Chef Fit right now, the actual elite group, Dan Duffy and Dan Hannigan. They were two lads. I worked with Dan Hannigan's a childhood friend, and Dan Duffy, I worked with them in the Pigeon House in Delgany. And basically, the two lads, like I won't dive into personal details, but the two lads were a bits. They were in absolute rags. And they came to me, they'd seen some of the results that I was getting with clients, and they were like, Chief, like, I need to fucking do something here. I need to
And was this before or after Keelan?
This was after Keelan. Similar enough, within the same 6 months. Do you know what I mean? And then, I was technically personal. I was coaching these lads intensely. It wasn't just me going, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. It was like I was coaching them to do.
It wasn't just a fitness thing. You were doing. It was like you're doing the whole chef fit with them.
But it was like watching. It was probably one of the most. It's probably one of my most satisfying experiences ever as a coach. Because I trained a lot of wankers in my time. I trained a lot of great people, but I trained a lot of wankers and a lot of people who didn't really do what they were supposed to do. They'd show up, get babysat for an hour, and then fuck off, and then come back and complain the next week that they're up weight. You know what I mean? That kind of shit. Yeah. And to see the change in the lads blew my fucking mind. Like Dan Hannigan lost 15 kilos in 7 weeks, you know, and for me, that was before I'd seen any of, like, you see Chef, that's kind of average for Chef Fit now, you know. Back then it was like, what the fuck is going on? You know, same thing with Dan Duffy. Totally, he was in it for different reasons, totally flipped everything on his head, completely changed his lifestyle, happier than I've ever seen him. And I was like, there's fucking something to this. There is something to this. So from there, I started Chef Fit in person. I used to coach groups of 3 to 4. So my brother Keelan got his chefs who were working for him. He was the head chef in Luna at the time. Rest in peace, Luna. He got his team in to be coached by me. And then to see their difference was fucking insane. They were rocking up at 8 o'clock in the morning, smashing out a training session, showering, eating fucking salads and going into work. And their performance in the kitchen went up and up and up and up. And they were basically blown away. From there, it was like, okay, right, this is Chef Fit's got fucking legs. You know what I mean? Chef Fit's got legs. But I didn't have a strong message at that point. That's the thing you got to understand. I didn't have a strong message. It was just, I like training chefs. I understand the pain because I've been through it myself. Not technically wearing the whites, but all the same lifestyle factors I've been through. And also I can coach you through that as well. And I can relate to you. So then we moved on. I got a fucking mentor, you know, and I'm open about this. I got a mentor, a guy who basically showed me how to do things online. This is what you need to do, you know, and he guided me step by step. And that's when I launched Chef Fit Online. And that's a year later, now you're seeing Chef Fit. Like, it took me 2 months to build the thing online. And then obviously you were one of the first lads in, Peter. That's nearly 10 months ago that we first launched the group. And now it's like 10 months.
No way.
Yeah. So that's 10 months. Today, as of this podcast and recording, we are at 63 chefs, you know.
Amazing.
Fucking mad. So it's
fucking crazy, isn't it?
It's mental. It's absolutely insane. If I backtrack, and I think, Jesus, I just after cooking a chili there, and I'm after rubbing fucking.
I get emotional thinking about the journey.
Stop, man. Yeah. Do I look mental or is he crying? So, like, when we did that at the start, it's fucking mad to see how fast time goes, and to think of myself on the phone just talking to you is just like, what the fuck am I doing here? Do you know what I mean? Just chancing my fucking arm. Had an idea that this thing had legs. It's developed so much over time, though. As you know, with the reps, you get more and more refined in what you're doing. And what I've realized with chefs is there's a fucking problem. There's a big fucking problem that's never going to be solved.
We found that in the first week, didn't we?
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
With the fucking intro videos, everything kind of turned around a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not turned around. It kind of got serious, took a different direction.
To get serious. And that was when I realized that community is everything. Environment is everything. And the difference, all of you guys transformed. I think there was 14, maybe 13 chefs in the original Chef Fit group in the challenge, 30-day challenge that just did. And it was like, that was a fucking game changer. Like, that was an absolute game changer. You lads completely, as a group, like, all of you individually transformed at the same time. It was mad. And for me, that was a moment of going, holy fuck. I think I saw it, like, you lost 9 or 10 kilos in 4 weeks. Kenny Cuff lost 12 kilos in 4 weeks. And that was just the weight. You see Limo like totally overcoming burnout, getting his life back, getting his confidence back. He's fucking feeling like himself again. You know what I mean? Like lads like Gav, who'd come from a dark place, he completely changed everything. Do you know what I mean? I think he said in his testimonial to me that he's like, first time he's considered, you know, coming off, maybe it was medication.
Yeah, big time.
You know what I mean?
Big time,
like,
yeah.
That was the kind of shit that I was seeing happen in front of me as a result.
But that wasn't planned originally, wasn't it? No?
Not really, no. Well, I couldn't foresee that. I couldn't foresee it.
You wouldn't have been able to foresee that until you get loads together, because, you know, if you're saying like, we're not, like what we're seeing now is that all chefs are going through the same thing. But if you have 2 or 3, then, you know, people won't be as open about that. But if one or 2 people, I think it was myself and Gav were the first 2 people to open up properly about it. And it was in the first couple of days. I'm not like when people were holding back. It's just it kind of you know, it rolled up. It kept going and going and going from there. But when that had started off, the two of us had said that, you know, we were having some trouble up here as we were going along, and then other people came along and said, yeah, actually this is it. And then I remember on the end of the first week when people had to put up an intro video, it was coming out where everybody was almost opening up with, man, I'm getting fucked up in the head from this shit, and that's why I'm here.
Yep, totally. Which is basically that opened the floodgates. But the message gets refined, because my message is Chef Fit coaches you to get yourself out of the rut and get your life back on track. You know what I mean? But it comes down to you getting your life back on track. And I think the message from me right now is like, okay, cool. You are in this situation. This is the problem that you're having, but you're going to have to do the fucking work to get out of it. The magic of Chef Fit is that you're not doing that alone. You know what I mean? You're doing it with people who are going through the same thing as you, and they're in the same position as you. You know, that's really, really, really important to realize. So yeah, man, like for me, that's what Chef Fit is turning into, and now it's starting to snowball and it's fucking taking off. So listen, that's I think
63 now. That's all the proof you need. Well, like the change in everybody and the whole tribe thing as well. That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely
huge.
It? And it's just
like the way it's a collective that everybody's getting everybody through everything, challenging against each other and with each other and for each other, and you know,
environment. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, big time.
Like I seek to, obviously, the philosophy is a reflection of what I believe as a person and as a man, and I believe that we have a lot more to play for in our lives than we think, you know, and we think that things in our lives are dictated to us, and they're not. They're not at all. It's like, if you can take ownership of what's going on, you can fix what's going on. And that's the message I try and convey to a lot of chefs. It's like, listen, man, as harsh as this may sound, no one forced you to be the chef that you are. So it's like, it's on you to fix that, and you can fix it. And all that I'm trying to do is coach you on how to do that and give you the environmental conditions to fucking do the work and succeed. That's the idea with Chef Fit, and that it's developed over time. So yeah.
And then all the chefs that are going through the same thing can actually get out of it the same way. That would have been another reason why when you had so many together that took out, because people were able to see it for themselves through other people that they were going through it every single day.
Totally.
Nice one. Great. That was quick, wasn't it? That was a good quick fire, wasn't it? The next thing I wanted to ask you was, how does it work that lifting weights, like most of our working out is around lifting weights, how come that is so successful when it comes to losing weight? Yep. Whereas before you think it's just diet cardio, you know, that's the usual stuff you're spoon fed, like, but we're being told lift, and the weight's just flying off. What's the story? How come?
Yeah, like I think cardio has benefits health-wise. It does, and it's good for you, but I don't think it should be, if you're looking to change how your body actually looks and performs, lifting weights needs to be your priority. You know what I mean? You're just doing it to feel better, and you just want to feel a bit better about yourself, and you want better mental health. Cool. Like, all you need to probably do is cardio. But the reality is, like, there's only so far you can go with that, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas lifting weights, for me, obviously my background is powerlifting and strength and conditioning, and lifting is my passion. That's what I really love, and that's what I fucking dig my teeth into, and I'm good at it, and I'm very good at coaching it. But the key thing about the centering around the program is, listen, it's like a tool. So we're further, before we even dive into that, weights burn more calories than cardio. So if you're looking to actually get rid of the gut and change how your body looks, weights are the key. The second thing is how your body performs and how your body feels. Like posture is a big thing for chefs. It's like, cool, like lifting weights correctly with the correct technique in the correct quantities in the correct ways will affect your posture in a very positive way. And it will stop your body breaking down. Like strong people are harder to kill and more useful in general. That's a quote by a strength coach called Mark Ripito.
Say that again.
Strong people are harder to kill and more useful in general. And it's very, very, very fucking true. I was, before we even dive into chef, here's another one. Like I moved house on Friday, okay? And I was basically in the space of an hour and a half, I had packed up my entire gaff, packed up my entire house, lifted all of it downstairs, and then put it all in the boot of my car. And I got out and I put the shit in my car and I was leaving the house. I was getting in my car completely packed out. I looked ahead of me and there's an old man. He wasn't an old man. This is the whole point. He wasn't old. He was fucking like 55. He wasn't that old at all. And I could just see him shuffling to the car. And it's like, it was just one of those moments where in the time that I actually got all my shit from my gaff into the car, and then as I was getting in to start the engine, I was looking at this dude, this fucking middle-aged man, and it took him about 10 minutes to get into his fucking car. And for me, that's a moment of going, that's why I lift weights. That's why I lift weights, because strong people have more resilience. It's like, it's the foundation of youth. Like you have bigger bone density. You have a better hormone response. Like men who lift weights produce more testosterone. Anyone who lifts weights produces more testosterone. Testosterone is the male hormone that keeps you a man. The fucking bollocks between your legs, testosterone gets produced by your testicles. Keeps you being able to have children and have sex successfully. That's what, you know what I mean? It makes you feel like a fucking man. My biggest fear is that I grow up to be this withery old fucker who's being carted around. And it's like, that's not going to happen. Unless I get hit by a fucking bus, I'm not going to make voluntary health decisions that lead me to be in this position. This is something that a lot of people overlook. We're all fucking going to get there. We're all going to be dead one day. We're all going to die. You understand? We're all going to die. So are you going to die withering away? Or, do you know what I mean? Or are you going to fucking keep fighting to maintain the youth and some level of shape? Because it can be done through lifting weights. So from a body performance and feeling good aspect with chefs, lifting weights is imperative. If you can combine lifting weights with the stretching and the warm-ups that I give you, all of a sudden posture is vastly improved. Your body's moving better. Everything's working better. Then looking at what you were asking me originally, which is why is it better than just doing cardio and whatever the fuck? It burns more calories. Like it's as simple as it burns more calories, and building muscle is a key cornerstone to getting a faster metabolism. Like you're not going to build a really fast metabolism by just fucking doing runs in the park. It's like, it's going to help everything else. Well, I close my curtains here because I just noticed the sun is shining on my face.
Yeah, go on, go for it. I can see through you. I can see your wall in the back of your head. X-ray sunlight coming in through there.
It's a bit better. So anyway, what I was saying there, it's like, I'm not saying cardio is bad. I'm just saying that if you want to change...
Half our work is cardio. Half the work that you give us is cardio. Half the days is. So.
Exactly. But it's just, it's the other side of the coin. Lifting weights. So it's like another reason is burns more calories, which means more weight loss and more fat loss, but also it builds muscle. Building muscle is something that for some strange fucking reason, a lot of people say to me, men included, oh Jesus, don't want to get bulky now. Fuck off, you fucking gimp. Anyway, first off, you're not lifting hard enough or eating the right amount of food or sticking with it long enough to fucking build enough muscle to get bulky. Secondly, it's like, you're a fucking man. Put some muscle on, pussy. Like, fuck off with that. What do you want to be, a skinny wreck? What happens if the fucking bus crashes off the cliff and it's fucking Lord of the Flies? You'll wish you had some fucking bulk on you. Otherwise,
that's kind of pre-excusing for not, you're not going to have the wherewithal to follow it through for the long run,
Fucking, look at that fuck. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, put some fucking muscle on your body. It'll keep you alive longer, for fuck's sake. On top of making you look better. Anyway, fucking, what I was saying there is building muscle. So obviously building muscle makes you look better, and I'll dispel the myth that you're never ever going to build enough muscle where you feel like you're too big. You're never going to get to that point. Trust me, you're never going to get to that point. I've been lifting weights for 13 fucking years, harder than you, and I don't look like I carry too much muscle. So don't worry about it, pal. Anyway, moving on.
Your legs are a bit fucking ridiculous.
What? I do. That's
your legs are a bit fucking ridiculous.
Genetics.
It's literally like plate armor.
See, my owl lad has big legs though, and he fucking doesn't lift anything. So I think I've been lucky in that way. But like the more muscle, the more strength equals a faster metabolism. What's your metabolism? Yeah. It's the system in your body that burns calories, energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fast.
That was my next question, was going straight in from the weights into the metabolism with like the Tabata workout.
Today,
the Tabatas and the HIIT sessions.
Yeah,
that continues to burn calories after you're finished doing it. Is that correct, or is that a myth that I heard and believed forever?
Yeah. So I'd have the lads doing HIIT sessions or a Tabata session at the end of their lifting sessions. That would be high intense. Like, they're both similar things. You know what I mean? Slightly different times. Basically, like a HIIT session would be fucking jump on a bit of cardio there, sprint for 30 seconds, rest, go very, very slow, resting pace for 30 seconds. For example, do that for 6 to 8 rounds. That's a standard HIIT session. A Tabata session would be like 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 8 rounds, 4 minutes in total. Sprint for 20 seconds, recover for 10 seconds, keel over on the floor after you've done 6 to 8 rounds of that. Why is this important? I get the lads to do it at the end of their weight sessions. One, a finisher it's a finisher. So from a psychological point of view, you finish the session highly satisfied that you fucking worked your bollocks off. Secondly,
hands down, the best months are finisher months.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Time, yeah.
Yeah.
Time.
You finish.
And I obviously know why we don't do them every month, because then it's not the finisher. It's just how we always do the workout. But when the finisher is in, it's time for fucking business.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the last part of the session. The other part of that is it elicits something called Pobg. What's that mean? It means when you do really high intense, like a cardio interval like that, you're stressing the lungs, and not to get too technical, but basically you're stressing your respiratory system in a way that causes an Pobg to happen. That's post-exercise oxygen consumption, which Pobg does not stand for, but that's what it means. Interesting. Anyway, I never questioned that when I was learning this shit.
I just said it out loud for the first time.
EOC. Pobg? Nah, it just sounds better if you call it Pobg. Exercise post-oxygen consumption? That doesn't make sense.
There you go. Exercise, comma. There you go.
Fucking Pobg. So basically you're stressing your respiratory system, that's your heart and lungs. Not your heart, your lungs, in a way that your body burns more calories for longer after that session. So it's like your metabolism gets spiked. That's what an Pobg is. So when you do your finishers like that, it's a good way to finish your sessions from a mental standpoint, but it also allows your body to be more likely to burn fat after a training session as well. Which is always
have that rocky feeling at the top of the stairs after the finisher.
Big time. The old fucking close to face plant jobby.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, big time. And then all you're doing is screaming for the end of the clock, and then when it comes and you press stop and you stop, you're like, fuck. I feel like, I wish there was another 2 rounds, but I've stopped, so I'm not going to keep going or that. But you know what I mean? And with the metabolism, so I didn't know at the time, but my excuse was that when I hit 30, this is what I said before I joined Sheffield, before I was educated any better, that when I hit 30, my metabolism said, see you later, and I'm fucking out here. What I eat today, I'm going to weigh that much extra tomorrow, regardless. That's what I always thought at the time. Now, I wasn't putting in the work at the time, but then at the start of Sheffield, you were like, I'm going to show you how to kickstart Your metabolism. So metabolism is something that comes, isn't it, like, you don't grow out of your metabolism, you know?
It's not
Or
really.
it slows down as you get older, or what?
Compare, like, it's as simple as this. People come up with, and I'm not calling you out, but this is what I hear everyone fucking say, and it's just like, people say things without really thinking about what they're saying. So think about it for a second. How active were you at 20? How active were you at 30? There's the answer to that question for a lot of people who ask that. Do you know what I mean? Oh, the metabolism starts to slow down. It's like, no, your metabolism didn't slow down. You fucking slowed down.
You slowed down, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, your metabolism won't slow down if you don't slow down. Like, think about it like, and I said this at the start of Chef Fit, it's like, it's a long process to build your metabolism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine this, I use this analogy of a Suzuki engine versus like a fucking 3-liter Land Cruiser. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're both engines, they're both metabolisms, but one's fucking uses a lot more fuel than the other. So the size of the engine is how much your metabolism burns off. So how many calories your metabolism burns off. If you build muscle and get stronger and build higher levels of fitness, then obviously your engine gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and a bigger engine requires more fuel. So like for me, for example, at my height, the powerlifting, when I was training really, really, really fucking hard, I was only lifting 4 days a week, but my training sessions were 2.5 hours of lifting. You know what I mean? And that was when I was getting up to fucking pretty fucking strong numbers. I was chasing records at the time. And I was as lean as I've ever been. I was 11% body fat and 101 kilos. So I was like fucking over 16 stone with a full blown. And I'm the same weight now, but I don't have, I'm nowhere near the same condition. If I look at a photo of myself from then, it's like, fucking hell, I was in fucking some nick. I wish I could get back to that. But key thing to understand was, through getting as strong as I did and building, like I was carrying a lot more muscle back then as well. You know what I mean? My arms were much bigger. My legs were bigger. My shoulders were bigger. I was just a fucking mutant. And I was eating fucking lots of food, man. I was eating lots of food. My client used to get me a box of protein bars every week. And I was going through a box of protein bars a week, which is disgraceful, by the way. And I was smoking heaps of weed. So I was eating like an absolute cunt, And basically I was as lean as I ever was, even though I was eating so much food. Why? Because I built so much muscle, and I'd gotten to the point where I was that strong that my body could I could eat 4,000 calories in a day and I'd be fine. Like, I'd be still shredded. And I can't do that now. Why? Because I have not maintained my engine. My metabolism has slowed down, but really I slowed down, because your metabolism is you. It's responsible for processing the amount of energy that you are fucking putting into your body and how much energy you're burning off. You're not burning off as much. So when people say I'm getting older, my metabolism is slowing down, it just means you were far more active as a child, and chances are in your mid to late 20s, you stop playing the sports that you did play, and therefore you're not burning the calories that you used to burn, which is why you're getting fat.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Got it. Yeah, big time. And you kind of just skipped into this next question. As you were saying there, I wanted to ask you about protein and how protein works in our body, and how those, like I know we eat protein as we go along, and now we have our protein shakes. What does that do for us?
Yeah. So protein, like, your body is made up of protein. Do you know what I mean? That's what tissue is made up of. They're made up of proteins, especially muscle tissue is made up of proteins, right? And when you take it into your diet, obviously you need protein in your diet to resynthesize or basically rebuild muscle tissue. Because when you're going to the gym, you're breaking down muscle tissue. You're stressing your nervous system and you're breaking down muscle tissue. You give your body protein, so it's like giving your body fucking, like, literally the raw material to rebuild itself bigger, faster, and stronger. Better and stronger, more muscle, you know what I mean? Stronger joints, stronger bone. Like, that's what protein is responsible for. It's responsible for rebuilding your body. Why? Because your body's made up of it. So again, I would recommend, like, what I get you guys to do is, like, you need a high protein diet. You need a good fucking source of meat, eggs, or fish with every single meal. And then your snacks would be a protein shake, which would be very, very convenient, you know, because it's quick and it's on the go and it gets into your system quite quickly.
Yep.
Most people, the other good thing about having lots of protein in your body is high levels of protein, or nitrogen, which is the element that one of the elements that makes up protein. High levels of nitrogen in your body basically induce muscle protein synthesis, which is muscle building, but it also promotes fat oxidation, which means you're more likely to burn off fat and build muscle when you have high levels of protein in your system.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like they go hand in hand, you know, they go hand in hand. So again, I think it's very, very important. Most people do not eat enough protein. Most people's diets is just like, oh, yeah, I had like a bit of yogurt, and then I had like one egg, and then I had some salad, and then I had some bean sprouts, and then it's like, fucking eat something with a fucking heartbeat, chap.
Or I just choose to eat carbs. Carbs.
You start to become what you eat. You are what you
fucking right, yeah.
You just eat fucking stodgy shit all the time, and you look like a stodgy piece of shit. Like, if you tell when someone eats fucking meat and greens, you start to reflect that. Every meal, like, I have a big whack of protein in it.
And the quality of protein, you were saying that before, makes a huge difference with the levels of amino acids in it. Wasn't that what you were saying?
Yeah.
In the round table before.
What was I saying about amino acids?
You were saying about it was like that. So if you compared like a free range chicken to a Tesco's battery chicken, you know,
your food quality
of the protein is a big difference.
Like bioavailable, it is getting a bit more advanced, but it's a good point. It's like food quality in turn, like bioavailability basically means how likely is your body going to take that bit of food and fucking use it for what it's used for, rebuilding your body. So for protein, like, how likely is your body going to take that piece of meat and use it to build more fucking muscle, as opposed to take that piece of meat and use it as fuel? So I use this example of plant-based, so vegan shit versus you know, an animal source of protein. Plant-based protein, animal protein. And they did this test called the amino acid. So amino acid, imagine fucking 12 or 13 blocks that make up a bit of protein. That's what amino acids are. So every protein cell, not getting too complicated here, every bit of protein is made up of amino acids. So basically, with a piece of meat, like if you got like a bit of venison or a good steak, it's like there's a really high quality chain of amino acids in that bit of red meat. It's about as good as you can fucking get in terms of amino acids. So your body is going to take that and go, thank you very fucking much, sir. And it's going to use all of that shit to rebuild yourself. That's why it's absolutely excellent for building muscle and changing how you perform and how your body looks. Whereas with a plant-based source, it's not that they don't work. It's just that they're not as effective or bioavailable as a good animal source of protein. So vegans and all of that shit, it's like, yeah, sure, you can build muscle on plant-based sources, but you're going to have to eat fuckloads more of it to get a similar effect. And it's probably not going to be as effective, even if you did have the same weight, you know? So if you have...
And do the amino acid supplements, are they a big help or no?
Nah, like they're not.
Like, should you, so say, for example, you see what I eat in a day. So I would have two proper big ass meals with at least one protein, a lot of the times 2 proteins in it. What are amino acid supplements, are they going to do me any good?
You've already got your bases covered.
You've got it, yeah.
Like there's studies to show that certain branch chain amino acids, which are like, you have essential amino acids and non-essential. Basically, essential ones are the ones that your body you need to get them in through your diet. Whereas the other ones, your body creates them. So it's like the ones that you need to get in through your diet, they say if you get a certain amount of those in after a workout, it increases your muscle synthesizing. So that means your muscle can recuperate and rebuild quicker and faster and stronger. But again, it's like you get a lot of that in through your diet and your protein shakes anyway. And I would also say that it's just not a fucking priority. Like there's other things you need to prioritize. Like lads, it's the wrong people asking that question. Do you know what I mean? The wrong people asking that question.
It's not a shortcut.
The wrong people asking that question.
It's not a shortcut.
Yeah, it's like, it's not, if like, what could you, like, get the main shit down first? Are you eating 3 or 4 meals a day? Are you training hard? Are you sleeping properly? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
People who ask me about branched chain amino acids usually aren't doing that shit. So it's like, you get far more bang for your buck if you slept properly tonight and you had a fucking, your regularity of meals, as opposed to, well, if I take the branched chain amino acids and then you're going home and eating a fucking Pop-Tart, it's like, go fuck yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Big time. Now, if we could spend a tiny little bit more time on this next one, right? Because the cyclist side of me wants to know as much as I can without wrecking everyone else's head about hydration and salt.
Okay.
So
not my area of expertise, but we'll fucking do it.
Okay, but good. I want to catch you out if I can. So I'll make you think on the spot. So when I started doing the long cycles, one of my first long cycles, I went up Barnabrina and then down the back and then straight up Sally's Gap, right? Yep. And I didn't get off the bike from the start, from the bottom of Barnabrina to the top of Sally's Gap, right? When I went to get off the bike and I took my first leg off, my hamstring went from, say, whatever it is, this size to this size, and then it was like an inverted ball at the back of my leg, and my heel was stuck to my arse cheek, right? I went to get off the bike, and then I felt like my other leg was doing the exact same thing. So I just kind of threw my leg back over and kind of Supermaned back on the bike to start heading down the back of Sally's Gap to try and get my leg to just fucking come back out of this, right? And some of the more seasoned cyclists in the cycling club at the time said, you're not eating enough salt, right? Yeah. So you're not eating enough salt. And I was thinking, but I thought, like, salt made you retain water, made you put on weight again. It was not properly informed, but they were like, you have to eat salt. You want to put a pinch of salt into your porridge. And if you're going to be cycling a lot, you're going to have to eat salty. So you need to even think salty towards the end of the week.
Yep.
Were they right in that?
Totally. It's like salt is a micronutrient.
Yeah.
Like, what's a micronutrient? You have macronutrients. So macronutrient, as we just spoke about, would be like proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. That's the main big blocks. But micronutrients would be all your vitamins and minerals.
Mm. So, like, so I always have now in my cycling kit, I have the
salt tablets or something.
Salt tablets, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I had them in electrolytes. Yeah, so I'll have one bottle with just water on it and one bottle with electrolytes. Yeah. And I'll have my salt in the morning. Now, I've done 100K cycles since then, and that hasn't happened since. You know that way, but that was some fucking wake-up call.
Totally. Like salt and those electrolytes, like they're a group of micronutrients. Basically, they're responsible for letting chemical reactions happen in your body. So like you need salt and minerals in your body for your muscle to contract.
Okay.
Like it is somewhere, and I'm not going to go too scientific on this, but in order for my bicep to do that, it's like there's chemical reactions happening within the muscle that I require salt for. I made this same mistake when I got my first cap for Leinster 19s, I believe, when I was playing rugby, and we had an interprovincial match against Munster and Donnybrook, and it was my first fucking cap. It was my first big game. And I was basically fucking nervous as fuck. So I ended up drinking 2 liters of Lucozade Sport. No, I didn't even. It wasn't even fucking Lucozade Sport, man. I ended up drinking 2 liters of water, just straight water, and I gulped the fucking whole thing. From the drive from Wicklow, where I was living, out to Dublin, it was like I drank a 2 liter bottle of water in the car, and then as we were
flushed out your electrolytes, was it?
I pissed about fucking 10 times, I'd say, in an hour and a half of getting changed, warming up, coming out for the match. By the time I got out to the match, I was like, it was like fucking flashes. I couldn't remember what was going on. It was like I blacked out, and I was just like fucking, I was all over the place. And I was like, I actually couldn't see. My vision was blurry. I was fucked, and I wasn't playing well. My brother came over and gave me a Lucozade Sport with electrolytes in it, and I drank that, and it was like I came back to life or something like that.
Oh,
because it was also, your brain needs it to snap and make, like, it's electricity flowing back and forth in your brain to your muscles and all of that. and those signals. Like they require micronutrients for those things to happen. So
you're recommended before big grand fondos to not overhydrate. So like, don't sit there drinking more thinking you're going to need this all the way along. It's more important to hydrate as you're going along.
Sip it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sip it. So every 10 minutes, take a drink. Every 25 minutes, eat something when you're doing these.
Totally. And I think the other thing about it is, it's like, obviously, sipping water is important. I actually think I just fucking forgot my point. Give me a sec here. So, salt.
You like the kicking back in you said about.
Yeah. Like, with all of this stuff, think about you sweat. So it's like, what's your sweat made out of? Like, sweat has salt in it. So when you're doing any kind of long endurance exercise or any kind of intense exercise, you sweat like a cunt. Like, you sweat a lot. And that salt and those minerals pour out through your sweat. And then you might take a piss, and it's the same idea. So you need to replenish that with electrolytes through a fucking Lucozade Sport or salt, as you said. You know, these things are going to help in any kind of endurance stuff. And then obviously it's a case of, if you're downing loads of water at the same time, you're going to piss all of that out. So that's why it's important to sip on it. So I drank all of that water at the same time, and I pissed all the fucking minerals and electrolytes out of my system, and I had none left then, and my body was just got like running on fucking empty. And then it was when I got the Lucozade Sport, it was like it brought me back to life because I replenished my body with the electrolytes and the salt.
Yeah. Right.
Boom.
We did it. We got there.
Boom, son. Yeah.
Nice one. That was great. Ladies and gents, that was, excuse me, Cam, this is my episode.
Back, Wolf.
Give me that mic back. Ladies and gentlemen, that was episode 10 of the Chef Babe podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and give it a share. You will find this podcast in most places, but YouTube and Podbean, Chef Fit. Follow us. Give it a click. Cam, signing off.
Check yourself before you fucking wreck yourself, buddy. Stay safe.